I am also recording a YouTube video while I'm doing this. Hello, everyone. I know you're gonna get on me. Um, why do I have a love-hate relationship with this podcast? I don't really hate the podcast. I just changed so much that it was kind of hard to keep up with. And I'm back for now. So I want to talk about something extremely important today, and that is about how I changed. Plain and simple, I changed. I changed as a person, I changed as a mom, I changed as a business owner, I changed. And I want to talk about this because I know you are probably going through this as well. But I want to talk about accepting it, accepting the identity change. Um, so, first things first, we know the pandemic happened. And my last episode was back in 2021, early 2021, I believe. And that's actually my most played episode. I don't know why, but it's my most played episode ever. Extremely high rate of listeners on that episode. But we're not here to talk about that today. We're here to talk about what I said. Millennials, we are changing rapidly. The pandemic happened, and I don't like to keep saying that, but I want to really talk about the shift that took place within us, whether we have kids or not. But I'm speaking from someone that has a child and still is trying to find their way, was trying to find their way. It's extremely scary. It was an extremely scary outlook because sometimes we just don't know. Like, we don't know what's on the other side. We don't know what's to come. We don't know how we're going to eat. We don't know, is this particular situation that we're in, is this really benefiting our lives like it used to? Is this job benefiting our lives like it used to? Is this house, this apartment, whatever you live in, is this benefiting my future? And so I've had this like grow from concrete journey for the past couple of years, I will say, because it's been 2 years and some change to where I am no longer the same person, especially as a woman. I am no longer the same person. And I thought that it was a bad thing. I started out thinking it was a bad thing. Then I was like, hold on. I'm actually still continuing to change whether I want to or not. So let me stop and let me figure this thing out. Let me sit down, let me slow down, and let me figure this thing out, because business or not, job or not, kids or not, you're changing and you probably don't even recognize that you're not accepting it. You're probably not even recognizing that you're repelling the change that could take place completely. So you're changing anyway, you're going to change. But when you start acknowledging it and when you start like really embracing that, those hard talks to yourself, those hard things that you recognize in the mirror that you just need to get rid of or strip, you're going to feel freedom. You're going to feel a true freedom when it comes to the decisions that you make, your life. And I'm not coming on here to tell y'all I have it all together, because I really don't. But guess what? Now I embrace that because I grew up under baby boomer parents that also grew up under the silent generation. You can look these things up. The silent generation, they didn't really talk. That was my grandparents. Then my parents were baby boomers, which they were extremely independent, extremely confident. competition kind of was that the thing in their era. All these things, was passed down to myself. And, my siblings, they have another story, but for me, they were passed down to me, but I come from a whole different era. I come from the millennial era. And what we saw within our era has been a lot. It's been a lot of things like life, American history, changing things. And I think we need to start acknowledging that, not the saying that we're not okay, because I cannot stand that. I will, as I add a little bit more episodes onto my podcast. Yeah, me. I'm actually gonna add episodes, but as I add more onto this podcast and you meet the new Kristen, because I have to introduce myself all over again. I'm Kristen, and it took some life-changing things to happen to everyone for some of us to realize who we are and what direction we want to go in, because the learning is never going to stop. The growing is not going to stop unless you choose for it to stop. Now, there are people out here that don't want to change. They don't want to evolve. They don't want anything of that type of life, because they just want to live the life that they were raised to live. And that might just be go to work and come home. And you can't knock people for wanting that if they want that. And I feel like the culture per se has pressed upon so many people to live this life that I'm living. Like, you got to live this life that I'm living. Sometimes people don't want that. And so if you are a person that's living a life that is different or peculiar from the group that, you find yourself around, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for you to relate to them. It's going to be hard for you to try to come down to wanting to just blend in. Some of us were born to stand out. And I just want to help you all with pinpointing why you may be frustrated. You may be frustrated because you weren't you're not supposed to live a normal life. You are actually supposed to live a peculiar life, but you may be boxing yourself in. And a lot of us found that out after this whole 2 years of not being able to do nothing, really having to, you wasn't able to dodge sitting down. Some people really truly tried to dodge that. But like I said before, we change and evolve whether we want to or not, but some people choose to not acknowledge it. Some people choose to stay where they're at. So for me, as a millennial and as a millennial mother and woman, I am let me just say first, I'm extremely blessed to even be here to sit and talk to y'all, because a lot of people have passed on. Rest in peace to them. And a lot of people's family members have passed on. And, I haven't had much of that happen. So I'm grateful. But I just want to give y'all, because I'm not going to be long today, I just want to give y'all a couple of things that I have recognized, like epiphanies. So, okay, here you go. First thing, I decided to quit my job and be a full-time artist before the pandemic hit, right before the pandemic hit. So I was in this space of thinking that I had a whole bunch of time, but pandemic came knocking on the door. Secondly, no one else in my family is a full-time artist. My sister is a hairstylist, which I still deem as artistry, but as far as the kind of art that I do, no one. So I had a epiphany, an understanding that I don't have too many people that are close to me that really understand my life. But what I was doing before was making the mistake of trying to get them to understand my life and understand who Kristen is and understand. They need to understand me. Now I'm like, no, I just need to be Kristen. If they don't understand it, maybe they will later on, maybe they won't. Now, I'm not saying this in a sense of my family is like bashing me or anything. Well, there was an incident, but I'm not saying this in a sense of my family's bad. But we have to stop, especially as women. Sometimes we over explain ourselves. Millennial women, we sometimes over explain ourselves and we feel the need that we have to say something, we have to prove that we're this person. We don't. All we have to do is be ourselves. That's it. If they don't like it, family included, exit stage left. So I recognize that, one, I'm an artist. No one else is in the way that I do stuff, because I'm a painter, and I like to create custom items such as like purses, sneakers, jean jackets, paintings in itself, canvases, like you name it. I like to do that. That's something that I was, born to do. So then the second thing is I decided to homeschool my child. I have not put him in public school. He's never even been in public school. Again, the environment that we're around, everyone else is in public school. Not a lot of moms that look like me that are homeschooling where I'm at. So this creates a questioning of, again, is this what I'm supposed to be doing, or do I gotta over explain myself? No, Kristen, you don't. This is what God told you to do it. The second thing. So I'm just giving y'all, like, I live a peculiar life. God told me to homeschool. People always say God told them to do something, but I'm dead serious. God told me with a audible voice to homeschool. This is when my son was 2. There's nothing in sight was going on. I couldn't even see a situation happening, but I obeyed. And God orchestrated my life in order for this to happen. Although it's not easy, let me tell you that, because it's not easy growing, changing, evolving, and you still got to homeschool and you still got to take care of another person that is growing, changing, and evolving, but you have to take care of them because they're not an adult. See, the fortunate part is he's going through it when he's younger, and he's going to grow up not even dealing with half of the stuff that I or his dad had to deal with. So that's the beauty of it. The unfortunate part is I should have already had that, understanding by the time I got to 32, that I don't have to over explain myself. But anyways, third thing is I've recognized that if I don't have a lot of friends that live the same life, maybe I need to be intentional about finding more women that look like me and other women that don't look like me. Maybe I need to be intentional about finding them that's living the same life, that is an entrepreneur, that is homeschooling, that is doing different things, outside of the norm. Maybe I need to find more women like that. So these are things that when we get to a certain point in our lives as women, I'm speaking to the women, especially the ones that are moms right now. When we get to these certain things in our lives and we ignore it, it just creates a ball of frustration. It creates a environment that's kind of stressful. So, for me, I find that you have to take time in it. You have to admit that you don't have it all together. You have to admit and be humble and live a life of humility so that you can forever learn from your experiences, your circumstances, and so that you can make different choices. You can make different decisions. And I'm excited. I'm excited to keep going. I'm excited to keep learning about myself. I'm excited. So I just hope this little snippet helped you today. And I will be coming back with more. I'm not going to try to be something, another podcast, or be someone else that, is out here. Like, I'm just going to give it to you raw, because I feel like, during my time of living, there's a lot that's happened to us in my age group, and we need to admit that, and we need to be okay with trying to sort things out and not think that we're our parents with pulling up our bootstraps and just not talking about it. Because like I said, my grandparents came from silent generation. They didn't talk about nothing because of the fear that gripped them. Okay, then my parents came from the baby boomers. An interesting fact, Martin Luther King Jr. came from the silent generation. And that's why it was so out of the norm for him to start talking about things that were going on. It was so radical in a sense back then, because all the people his age, they were like, no, don't talk about don't talk about this, don't talk about that. And so that passed down. The people that decided not to speak out or change, they passed that down to their children, which were baby boomers. A lot of them, they don't talk about nothing. People, I don't even get into it, but there's a lot of things that weren't discussed or communicated. Then you have the millennials, we're like, hello, we're going to get everything that we came for. You're not treating this person right, we're going to do something about that. If this group is not getting treated right, we're going to do something about that. We're going to use our money to do something about that. So that's like almost like a threat, like, whoa, y'all need to slow down. So I'll get more on that on another episode, but I really just wanted to come here and say hi, and I hope you welcome me back with open arms, because I have just been doing a lot in a good way. A lot of healing, a lot of deciphering, a lot of stripping. And it doesn't always feel good, but it does feel good when you get on the other side, because you look at things differently. You're not so in survival mode. And I feel like a lot of us as millennials, we've been in survival mode because of our parents or because of our environment that we grew up in. So we really want to be careful about that. I'm not trying to be a therapist, but I'm just telling you what I know. And I will be back with another episode soon. So I hope you stay tuned and share this with someone that you know. Have a great rest of your evening or afternoon, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.